Hello and welcome back, everybody, to day 12 of our Bible study in the book of Matthew. We're on chapter 8. It starts off with Jesus coming down from the mountain with large crowds following him, and a leper coming to him and saying, "Lord, if you're willing, you can make me clean." And Jesus answers, "I am willing, be cleansed." That's an intense miracle to imagine because of not just the physical aspects of leprosy, but also the aspects socially where you're similar to the untouchables, like in India, where you can't have social interaction in the form of physical contact. That's ripped away from you. And I think that that's something that a lot of us don't understand the value of until it would be removed from us under that circumstance. I certainly would hate it. But his leprosy is cleansed, and Jesus tells him, like immediately, seemingly, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Go show yourself to the priest and present the offering that Moses commanded as a testimony to them. And when Jesus entered Capernaum, the next miracle is of a centurion, a Roman centurion, I believe. And he says, "Lord, my servant is laying paralyzed at home, fearfully tormented." So there might be something else going on other than just paralyzed, but fearfully tormented. And Jesus says, "I will come and heal him." And the centurion replies, "Lord, I am not worthy for you to come under my roof, but just say the word and my servant will be healed." And he goes continues talking about how he's a man under authority and also above authority, where he has people that he commands and people that command him. When Jesus hears this, he marvels and says to the people who were following him, "Truly I say to you, I haven't found such great faith with anyone in Israel. I say to you that many will come from east and west and recline at the table with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the sons of the kingdom will be cast out into outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Can't say I understand completely what this means. Maybe it's something to do with the specific word for kingdom. But obviously it's a negative connotation. Jesus said to the centurion, "Go, it shall be done for you as you have believed." And the servant was healed at that very moment. And if I remember correctly, in other versions of the gospel, it describes that the centurion, when he went back home, measured the time of what it took for him to get back home, plus when Jesus said the words, and put the two together as Jesus healed the servant at the same time that it was being said out of Jesus' mouth, the servant was healed. There we go. We get into Peter's mother-in-law as another miracle. Jesus comes to Peter's home, one of his disciples, sees his mother-in-law lying sick in bed with a fever. I'm sick right now thinking about it. It's like he touches her hand, the fever leaves her, and she gets up and starts waiting on him. It's just hilarious for me to imagine that, just like you're in bed, like sniveling and feverish, and Jesus comes up and touches your hand, and you're immediately healed. And she's up and at him. She's like, "Let me get you some soup or something to drink," blah blah blah. It's just funny for me to imagine that kind of like hospitality in the midst of just being very sick. But discipleship tested is the title of the next section. Jesus saw a great crowd around him. He gives orders to depart to the other side of the sea. And a scribe comes and says to him, "Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go." And Jesus responds, "The foxes have holes and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." I thought there was an interesting difference in between what Jesus is saying to these people who are asking to follow him versus the people that Jesus asked to follow him. Like for his disciples, when he says things like, come follow me and I will make you fishers of men, or even just simply come follow me. Versus here, this scribe is like, Lord, I'll follow you wherever you go. And Jesus' response is like a warning, like the foxes have holes, the birds of the air have nests, the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. It's like, warning, you come follow me, and there's not these creature comforts necessarily. There won't necessarily be wonderful provisions of this earthly place. And then in the next one, another of the disciples said to him, this is of his actual disciples, so I assume this is one of the 12, says to him, Lord, permit me first to go and bury my father. It's pretty intense. And Jesus says to him, follow me and allow the dead to bury their own dead. And I don't know that I perfectly understand what that means either. I wonder if this is specifically towards the disciples' family that had explicitly rejected Christ, or something to that effect, where in the fact that they've absolutely rejected Christ, they're currently dead. They're living, but they're walking dead, and so to speak. Let those bury their own dead. Or maybe that's the wrong interpretation. I'm not entirely sure. And then here's a real big famous one. When he gets into the boat, his disciples follow him, Jesus. And behold, there arose a great storm on the sea, so big that the boat was being covered with waves. When you think about that, it's like, if I remember right, the rendition of the type of a ship or boat that would have been in this time in this area is pretty similar to what I've seen on any sort of a documentary on a third world country that relies on a lot of boat travel. So if you ever see something like the Philippines or Malaysia or the Amazon River rainforest, different places in Africa where people are doing a lot of boat travel, and you see that kind of a classic third world country type boat that's just made out of planks. That type of size and shape is a generally comparable idea from what I've seen. And just to imagine that boat inside this ocean where the waves are so intense that it's literally crashing over the sides of the boat and just filling up the boat. And I can imagine them just like frantically bailing water out of this boat. But Jesus himself was asleep. I enjoy sleeping through storms. But to think about being in the middle of a storm on the open ocean where the waves are just in a relatively short boat, where people around you are screaming, hollering, bailing the boat, there's thunder and lightning, and Jesus is asleep. I thought that was a beautiful example of kind of the verse that describes the peace that passes all understanding. It reminded me, whenever I was looking at this chapter, it reminded me of a sermon that one of our pastors in our area had. It was really great on the topic of the word shalom, and how it's oftentimes used as a greeting, but it's a word of multiple meanings, of many meanings. It can be a greeting, it can be a question, it can be an answer. But if it's used in a greeting, like, hello, are you shalom? It's kind of like asking, are you at peace? But it's not that simple. It's not, are you at peace because everything in your life is going good? It's, are you at peace because you are right with God, because God is with you? Keyword, despite anything else that's going wrong in your life. It's, are you at peace despite anything that might be going wrong? Are you with God despite anything that might be going wrong? And then the answer of, I am shalom, is the confirmation of that. I am at peace despite what's going on in my life. I am at peace because of God with me. That kind of thing. And I think what Jesus is doing right here is like the embodiment, a beautiful embodiment of that peace that surpasses all understanding, and that shalom. He is shalom in the midst of this, the whole storm and the boat sinking, The people losing their minds, probably trying to bail the boat out, and Jesus is asleep because he's shalom. He's at peace despite the circumstance. And they came to him and woke him, saying, "Save us, Lord, we are perishing." We're going to die. Save us. He says to them, "Why are you afraid, you men of little faith?" That's me. For so much of my life, that has been me, where I struggle in faith and struggle with anxiety because of the lack in faith. And I'm thankful for the consistent reminders of that I've seen here as I'm going through this Bible study with anybody here who's watching. It's great for me to gain that perspective and continually re-see that perspective and the need that I have, not to have faith, to choose faith. And there's times when I have faith, and it's easy to have faith in those times, but to choose faith is hard. But that's why it's all the more important. Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the sea. He rebuked them. He said, "What are y'all doing? Y'all calm down." And they became perfectly calm. To go from so intensely crazy as the boat is rocking so bad and the waves are coming and piling in over the sides of the boat and the boat is sinking and the people inside the boat are like, "We are going to die," to being perfectly calm. And the men were amazed and said, "What kind of man is this that even the winds and sea obey him?" He's the one that made those winds and seas. That's why they obey him. I appreciate y'all watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. And if you have anything that you wanted me to do a separate video on, by all means, comment it. I appreciate you watching again. See you on the next one.